Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Estate Planning Expert Series, where I interview experts on the topic of estate planning to help financial advisors grow. Today's show is all about the 90-day hook and how financial advisors can accelerate time to value with brand new clients with estate planning. I'm so excited for today's guest, Greg Furer CFP, CRPC, and the founder and CEO of Beratung Advisors. Greg, you've been in the industry for over 10 years. You've worked at several different firms and companies. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. It's a privilege and honor. I've long been an admirer of the work you do on LinkedIn, so I'm glad to join you today.
That's awesome, Greg. So I want to talk about this 90-day framework. You've built out this framework to sort of hook new clients with real lasting value. And I always say the onboarding phase is one of the most important phases of a client relationship. So why did you build this 90-day hook? What does this entail? And how was estate planning a piece of that 90-day hook?
Yeah, oddly enough, came from an estate planning attorney who's one of our biggest centers of influence, and actually somebody we refer a lot of our complex estate planning to. And he had read a book, and him and I are prolific book readers. Leaders are readers. And there's a book called Retention Point. And really why I was focused on this is we are a financial planning firm that does financial planning. And if clients need it and or want it, we offer investment management. As opposed to a lot of them out there that do investment management, and if client wants it or needs it, offer financial planning. So we offer for a lot of our clients subscription-based financial planning. Well, a lot of people that have been used to charging AUM, it's kind of hidden. I like how many times you tell a client that, right? They see their money go up and they don't look at the fee. Yep. So when you're actually paying somebody out of their checking account, it's a totally different mindset. And that's why I started reading this book, Retention Points, about subscription-based services. And it talks about this 90 days, and there's a psychological need in 90 days to see value. Mm-hmm. And the further and further along you pass the 90 days, once you've got that original value, they're more likely to be retained. That's the retention hook. So I'm a person who always likes to work on my business and think it through. And I started thinking, what is the experience in the first 90 days of our clients? What's one big win I can give them that delivers massive value that is no additional cost? A lot of times people in the first 90 days want to upsell or they want to do something different.
Yeah.
So we started looking at what's the thing that we provide a ton of value from reference from our clients that we can also do right away. And so we started looking at one of the things we always recommend is property and casualty insurance and go and talk to their agent. We do a lot of tax planning, but it's really hard to do that tax planning in the first 9 days we're going to know the client. Well, we realized most of our clients need estate planning and they don't do it. And so we were like, what if in the first 90 days we could get them to do estate planning? Well, then we had another problem. The problem was we looked at our clients, the recommendation that they had the least action on was estate planning. Mm-hmm. So as we started toying around with this, we started figuring out what can we do in the first 90 days. The solution was easy to us. We need clients to update or enact the basic parts of their estate plan.
It's as simple as that. That's simple and profound and desperately needed. I really like your approach to this. You did the research, you found what your clients are missing, and you took action and embedded it within that first 90 days, which is even more powerful.
If you're looking for your own 90-day, it might not be the same. Right. You got to test it. Like we tested it through there. Okay. And I'll tell you, when you got the right one?
When?
Is when the clients are referring you to people and they come to you for that exact thing. Mm-hmm. See, what happened is that first 90 days, they're also the most likely to refer you business. Mm-hmm. So if you add value, they're going to refer you based upon that. That's that talk trigger. That's that effect that they're going to talk about you behind your back. So what's crazy is how many people come to us and said, hey, I heard you do estate planning. I'm not a lawyer. That's just part of what we do is financial planning, but it's just the interesting part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit more about like referrals. And by the way, just for anyone listening, what is the name of that book? You mentioned it a moment ago.
Retention Point.
Retention Point. Okay, awesome. So let's talk about estate planning as this sort of what you said talk trigger, right? You said estate planning is like a talk trigger. How has it led to conversations that have led to referrals? So within that first 90 days, but even beyond the first 90 days, explain this talk trigger.
So the talk trigger comes from a book called Iconic by Scott McKain, and great brands have talk triggers. So he talks in the book about this St. Elmo's Steakhouse, which is a steakhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's famous for its cocktail shrimp. That booming seaport town of Indianapolis, Indiana. Mm-hmm. The reason why is they put so much horseradish in there that they wear gas masks when they're building the horseradish into the cocktail sauce. It's so pungent, you can't help but talk about it. So we have tons of talk triggers. We have our own bourbon that we give out to clients. We have this ugly couch in our lobby. We're always trying to find creative ways, because you know what people don't do in their free time? Talk about their financial planner. I hear financial planners all the time because they're arrogant and pompous. They think their clients are talking about them because they're doing such great work. But I don't sit there and talk about my doctor or my dentist or my property and casualty agent when I'm on my boat with my friends. It's just not what we talk about. You talk about experiences.
Yeah.
And so the reason why this one is huge is because people don't want to talk about death. It's final. It's finite. And they don't do an estate plan. No, most people don't wake up one day and say, you know what we need to do? Let's check it off our list. Let's call our estate planning. So what this does is it gives a trigger to say, oh, we got our estate plan done. And they talk about it. And then you know what they say? They're like, well, which lawyer did you use? Actually, we partnered with our financial planner to get this done. And now we're meeting with this lawyer. And so I think that's what it is. It gives somebody something else to talk to, but also people don't want a referral to the financial planner. Because they hear financial planner, all they hear is life insurance salesman or stockbroker, because so many stockbrokers, life insurance call themselves financial planners. So it's, even if it does come up in conversation, they're usually not. But then all of a sudden it's like, wait, I could pick who takes care of my children when I leave. It's a talk trigger.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's attracting them in. Yep. Let's talk about the fact that you're a financial planner, that there are, people, financial planners out there who have some maybe apprehension to getting involved in estate planning. I mean, updating your ADV is one thing, but just, hey, this is maybe not my wheelhouse, but you're doing it and you're doing it successfully. So, when we look at scale, we look at technology, and when we look at estate planning and we see this sort of boom in the estate planning technology space, it's very indicative of the growth that's going on here. So how do you use technology specifically? I know you use Trust and Will. How is Trust and Will a partner to you in those first 90 days, that 90-day hook, delivering that value?
And I think I hear this all the time, right? Because I think some of it's imposter syndrome, right? Some of it's like, I can't do this. I don't have enough knowledge.
Yeah.
That's kind of a poor excuse, because if you're a CFP professional, you have that knowledge, you can go out there and get the knowledge. I think there's this there's this psychology of anyone that's been in a profession for some time, that we were always told by compliance that never talk about taxes and never talk about estate. I am not a lawyer and I can't give legal advice, but I ultimately have to look at a client's financial plan, and I have to look at their will and tell them how this affects. If I'm telling them this affects your beneficiaries in your IRA, that's part of financial planning. It has to come together. So I will tell you, you got to get past that, and you just have to learn where the compliance risk is. At the end of the day, my clients with Trust and Wills, I'm partnering to give them legal documents. Yeah. They may need more than that. They may need something more extensive than that, but they're getting legal documents, not legal advice. So if you're scared about this, just don't give legal advice. Just tell people they need this, and you're helping them get to there. And that's what this is all about. It's about removing friction for the client. If you don't remove that friction, somebody else is. They have a need, and if you're not fixing it, you're not meeting that need, they're going to go somewhere else. Hence the talk trigger. You might be doing investment management, and maybe that one person has somehow figured out how to beat the market because you all say you do. And then they're going to leave me because I can't beat the market because nobody can. They're going to come over to their friend and say, wait, you got an estate plan? Oh, I'm going to come over to Greg, and he's going to do that. And they're not going to care about the fact that I can't beat the market like nobody can.
Yep. Clients, I think another piece of this, and you had shared this in our prior conversation, is, sometimes they're apprehensive themselves to even want to get their estate plan done. So it's not just the advisor, maybe it's also clients, but because of cost or complexity. But you talk to your clients and you found that really wasn't necessarily the case. Can you share with our audience today, like, what was holding your clients back from wanting to do this?
So we've been talking about this a lot when we look at our tech stack. So e-money in 2006 was like revolutionary for me. Holistic Plan a few years back was revolutionary for me. Since then, Trust and Wills has been the biggest partner to our tech stack. And the reason why, and it was completely opposite with our whole 90-day, the premise of the 90-day hook is still correct, but why we picked estate planning was incorrect. See, I thought the reason why our clients never follow through with going out and putting their will, living will, and power of attorney in place, or a basic, depending on your state, if they need a basic trust in place, was because it was too much time and effort, and most importantly, too much money. They didn't want to pay for a lawyer. They didn't want to sit another meeting. And that was not the friction. The friction was decisions. See, I might want my mother-in-law to be the guardians, but I also might want my mother to be the guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife might want my mother-in-law, right? And so it's this friction of not want to have that conversation. And when we don't know the answer and we want to do, we avoid things. Just why a lot of people have a financial plan is because they want to avoid it. That money avoidance, the decision. And so what we realized was when it comes to estate, it's final. I can't make a change. What's beautiful and why Trust and Wills is such a partner for us is we tell them, we're going to give you access to a portal to finally do these documents. You don't have to make a decision, but make a decision today and you can go and change as many times as you want. Like you have full access to this portal. We're paying for it. As long as you're my client, you can go there and make as many edits as you want. You just got to go out and get it notarized. The fact that they have choice to change it allows them to make a decision because the decision is not final. Even though they do the same thing with a lawyer. And then what the crazy part about this is our referrals to estate plan attorneys have doubled since we brought Trust and Will in, because people that need more complex estate plans now have finally made the decision. And once they get over the hurdle, and that's the real talk trigger, that's why this is part of our 90 days. That's the secret sauce, is what I'm doing is I'm getting to make a decision that the lawyer can't and somebody else can't. Because I'm saying, let's just put something out on paper. Let's sleep on it overnight and we can change it when we meet again next week. Oh, by the way, you can change it at the middle of the night when you think about it because you have access to your portal. You just got to find a notary. That's why it's been beautiful.
Whenever you need to change it, you can change it. There is a lot of power in choice. Thank you for sharing that because it's a big misconception. I mean, yes, validly speaking, there are clients who can't afford to do it or they don't want to, get into the complexity of it. But I think what you're saying is so important to hear as a financial advisor. It's like the technology is going to give them the power to hop in and really control this and take it into their own hands and make changes as they need. So there really are no excuses. Okay, Greg, you've been awesome. I feel like we could go on and on and on. I want to ask you one more question and then we'll wrap it up here. Keep it short and sweet. You've given a lot of good tips and information back to the audience today, a book recommendation, and I think a lot of nuggets for people to take in and think about. What does my client experience look like in the first 90 days? So what advice would you give to a financial advisor who's struggling or maybe just starting to think about creating a very clear first 90 days value prop?
So one of my mentors always told me, Greg, the definition of a leader is somebody that makes really fast decisions that are sometimes right. Just make a decision. You know what? You're not going to figure it out. Progress over perfection. Put something in place the next day and let your clients tell you if you got it right. Don't try to overthink it. Don't try to overanalyze it because I guarantee whatever answer you come up with is not as good as the answer. And it's definitely not the final answer. We call our team minimum viable product. Follow the 80% rule on it. Just do something, but do it the same way every time so you know what's working, what's not.
Consistency. That is a high note to end on, Greg. Thank you so much for joining me on today's show and sharing all of your knowledge and teaching us more about this 90-day hook and the importance of time to value. And thanks for all the shout out to Trust and Will. If you're in our audience today and you're interested in learning more about Trust and Will, you can scan the QR code at the bottom of this video or just head over to trustandwill.com/advisors. All right, everyone. We'll see you soon. Greg, thank you again.